Hey, yo, what's up? Back at you with another video. Paul O'Sullivan says that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi may have ended his life as a police officer for giving us the press briefing that he gave us. Who is Paul O'Sullivan? He's an Irish, South African, forensic investigator, anti-crime and corruption campaigner, and an entrepreneur and an author who's got a book called To Catch a Cop. Is he here trying to make himself relevant to the discussion so that he can sell books? We know grifters, we've seen them, we know their tactics. Another grift account is that of Gulem. There's this account that you may know, which people know very much to be an ANC-held account that represents members of the ANC and fights their battles in the public space. So Gulem over here tried to come with some whataboutism and bring our attention towards a case of the Gaba files that he says is sitting around for a long time and Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi is not doing anything about it. But a whole lot of people in the comments said, yo, this is already in the courts. It's in the domain of the NPA. The brother doesn't prosecute. This is rubbish. This is nonsense. This is whataboutism. What are you here for, O'Sullivan? Now, let's hear what he's actually here about.
To our top story this hour, KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has slammed the disbanding of a task team looking into political killings in the province. He's made some explosive claims, including that the Police Minister Senzo Mchunu instructed the Deputy National Commissioner, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya, to disband the unit. Forensic consultant Paul O'Sullivan joins us now for more reaction. Paul, good evening to you as always. Thank you very much for your time. It seems the gloves are off here. What were you thinking when you were listening to that news conference and the evidence that Mkhwanazi says he has that backs up the claims that he made today?
Yes, I think we need to go behind what Mkhwanazi has stated. Let's go back to the year 2012. In 2012, Mkhwanazi was the acting Commissioner of Police, and he never became the Commissioner of Police because he was found unsuitable. And he eventually ended up as the Commissioner of Police for KZN. At the time when he was Commissioner of Police, Masemola, that's the current Chief of Police, the current Commissioner of Police, Masemola was the acting head of crime intelligence. And when Masemola was acting head of crime intelligence, Mkhwanazi approved the unlawful expenditure by Masemola of 35 million rand of public funds on buying luxury cars. And that was in the early part, the first quarter of 2012. Now, if we bring it a little bit further forward, both Mkhwanazi and Masemola joined a police supplier on an overseas trip. And the pair of them came back with, what do you call it, Louis Vuitton. It's a very expensive ladies' handbag.
How? Louis Vuitton. Okay, let's keep listening.
And the pair of them came back with a gift from the police supplier, being a Louis Vuitton handbag. And from what I can gather, neither of them disclosed at customs the fact that they had in their possession a gift worth somewhere between 70 and 100,000 rand each. And then what did they do? They probably gave these bags to their wives. Now, if we take it to the present day, we have Mkhwanazi, the Commissioner of Police for Natal, suddenly calling a press conference. And in that press conference, he dishes the Minister of Police. And he makes a lot of allegations in that press conference. And although he only made those allegations at midday today, I've had an opportunity to go through them. And some of them, the ones that I have been able to go through and ascertain, I'm satisfied that they're false allegations, which means Mkhwanazi is on a mission of his own. Well, then the question is he on a mission of his own, or is Masemola part of that mission? Because Masemola is the Commissioner of Police. So the question is, did Mkhwanazi get permission from Masemola to hold a media conference where he slated the Minister of Police and other senior personnel in the police, or did he act on his own? And I think the investigation needs to discover who was behind his press conference today. And it also needs to discover why he was dressed in combat uniform. He's a police official. He's the head of KZN Provincial Police. He's not a task force member. So why was he wearing task force uniform? And why was he having task force members on both sides of him? It's almost like he's challenging who? The government? He's challenging the police? Who is he challenging? And he's sending out all these people around him. If you have a look at the pictures, it's very, very clear. He's surrounded by people with R5 weapons, and they're all wearing masks, so we can't see who they are.
Okay, Paul, I must come in there.
It looks dangerously suspicious, and it looks dangerously like he's threatening a coup.
All right, Paul, let's go into you saying you went to, well, this looks, as you say, this is, in a sense, a show of force, is what you're saying in terms of the way the optics are. I beg your pardon, Paul, you can't hear me?
I didn't hear what you said. You just need to speak up a bit.
All right, I'll get the team just to make sure that you've got me in your ear.
I can hear you now.
All right, Paul. I want to go back. You said that even though it's been a few short hours, you managed to go back and look at some of what Mkhwanazi presented to the public today, and you have established that some of those are false allegations. Just enumerate for us, Paul, which ones you say, even just with a quick investigation, do not stand up to scrutiny.
Well, there's a number of them, and I don't think I want to go into them. And the reason why I don't want to go into them is because Mkhwanazi has acted unlawfully. He's put in the public domain details of criminal investigations which are still ongoing, and that's unheard of. What the police should never ever do is publish the blow-by-blow details of criminal investigations that are still ongoing, because by doing so, they're undermining the criminal justice system, he undermines the judiciary, he undermines the National Prosecuting Authority, and in effect, he gives an opportunity to criminal underworld to get off on crimes that they may or may not have committed before the trial has even begun. And it's just unheard of. So what I'm now doing, in fact, I've sent an email today to Nhlanhla, and I've copied the president, and I've said I'm now calling for a judicial commission of inquiry into what the hell is going on in the police service of this country. Because
Yo, we got a comment. The noble nitpicker. This guy's a joke. Do you remember what question he was asked? What he thought of what Mkhwanazi said? He instead drags Mkhwanazi so that he can place doubt on him and his intentions. And the noble nitpicker, there was also a question earlier about Paul O'Sullivan and Masemola, and we've got some reading available to do here just now. We'll come back to it.
Because it's completely unacceptable. And the victims of crime out there, and there's many of them, the victims of crime out there are getting hut full of all this criminal activity within the police service, and it has to stop.
I want to go back to the histories here, Paul, and I think it is important, as you say, that this isn't a journey of a few months or just a few years. We're going back at least 13 years to 2012 is what you were sharing with us. And this relationship that you're sharing about between the National Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Fani Masemola, and Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi in very different roles there that has endured, you would say, until today. It's interesting because the Deputy National Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibia, has been in the media on our platform as well, dealing with some of the issues that Mkhwanazi raised, and in fact put the issue of the 121 case dockets at the door of the National Police Commissioner, saying that it was only his to implement the instructions of the National Commissioner. So how much do you believe it is, or how important do you think it is in this moment that the National Police Commissioner, we've heard in part from the Police Minister, but that it's important for the National Police Commissioner to be out and vocal on what we heard today?
The National Police Commissioner needs to come out and speak for himself. I can't speak for him. And he's been ominously silent. I put it to him over a week ago, actually 10 days ago, that he had to suspend 5 generals and 2 brigadiers from crime intelligence. And he hasn't come back with an answer on that, other than to say it's an internal matter and it's got nothing to do with the public. It's got everything to do with the public. The public are the victims of crime. The generals in the crime intelligence and in the police service who go around with police bodyguards are not victims of crime. It's the man in the street that's victims of crime, and we're getting fed up with it. So what the police have to do is clean up their act. And it's never going to happen when you've got people...
Mkomboti says that O'Sullivan wants to make... Mkomboti. Paul speaks as if he wasn't watching the press briefing. Then the next comment, O'Sullivan wants to make about the low-level cops. Mkhwanazi is saying the top is rotten.
People standing behind closed doors agreeing what to do and what to say to the media. But Mkhwanazi himself, he needs to come out and explain, where is the Louis Vuitton bag he was given as a gift? Where are the cars that were purchased in 2012 using crime intelligence slush funds? He needs to answer those questions. And he needs to answer the following question as well. Who authorized him to dress up in combat uniform with a dozen men on either side of him in combat gear with masks on to demonstrate that he's a tough guy and he's going to take on the government and dish the government, the judiciary, and the National Prosecuting Authority. That man needs to be held accountable by the people of this country.
Is it unprecedented, Paul? Because I'm not sure if you've seen on social media and so on pictures being circulated of former National Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Sithole also wearing these similar sort of army fatigues in briefings and things like that. And my understanding was this is, as you say, a special task force combat uniform giving a briefing on task force activity. So just share with us why this would have been the wrong move to have made or not his place to have done.
Well, I think that's a question they have to answer. The question is, are you guys planning a military coup? Are you saying that the armed special task force units are going to take over this country? We want to know, because we don't expect to find a divisional commissioner or a police commissioner or a provincial police commissioner that's in combat uniforms surrounded by combat-dressed people brandishing firearms with masks on. It's completely unacceptable. It's something you might see in South America or other countries, perhaps in North or West or Central Africa. It's not something we expect to see in South Africa.
What?
So you're saying it's more ominous because he did it today in this context, not necessarily that we haven't seen high-ranking police officials wearing combat or task force uniforms.
Good question.
Well, the first thing is he's not a member of the task force. So why? Let him explain. Why is he wearing task force uniform? Why did he have 6 men on either side of him wearing task force uniform with masks on and brandishing firearms? It was a media presentation. So what, was he afraid of the media? What did he think would happen to him at that conference? How much did it cost the taxpayer for him to be standing there? And by the way, he had pretty much the whole of the KZN Provincial Police Service there with him. So they were all there on a Sunday. He calls his impromptu press conference and he lies to the media. And we need to get to the bottom of it. But I can tell you, he's triggered something which may just be the end of his life in the police service.
Just tell us more on that point, Paul. What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Well, the reality is he wasn't authorized to do what he did. If Masemola authorized him to do what he did, the two of them can go down together, because I'm calling for a judicial commission of inquiry. I have today written to the minister, and I've asked the minister, without overreaching his executive powers, to arrange for Masemola and Mkhwanazi to be suspended until we can get to the bottom of what their conduct is actually involved in and where it's leading.
There's another piece which has some connections to it that was raised by the DNC, Sabir, saying in an interview on our channel not too long ago that Mkhwanazi, that he was caught off by Mkhwanazi's accusations against him, saying that the KZN commissioner was angry over the arrest of a crime intelligence chief, Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo. I know that you have some interest in the Khumalo matter as well. Just talk to us about what you think of that statement from the DNC.
Well, I can't second guess what's going on inside the head of a criminal like Mkhwanazi. But the reality of the situation is he's overstepped his mark. It's not the job of the provincial commissioner to start accusing the government, the judiciary, the National Prosecuting Authority, and the Minister of Police, for that matter, of being criminals. And that's what he did today. And I want to see that man fall, and the sooner the better.
Paul O'Sullivan, thanks for talking to us this evening.
Yo, F2, what does task force uniform have to do with this, man? This guy is a joke. Hey yo, hope you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and keep your eyes on this content as we'll be bringing you more of this from YouTube and Twitter. Peace out.